Hello witches, it's Keldon. I hope you're all doing well. It's been a while again, but that's okay. I wanted to make a video today. It's kind of a video response to a video that Thorn Mooney just posted. Of course, I feel like anytime I make a video response, it's to Thorn Mooney. So I will put a link down below to that, but she really talked about a lot of important things that I've also been thinking about and feeling in the last few months, particularly about social media and being a witch on social media. So for anybody who doesn't follow me on Instagram, then you probably don't know this, but I recently deleted Instagram. Not my account itself, but just the app. I thought deleting the account itself would be a little bit more permanent than I would like. But I'm taking a break. And that comes after a lot of thinking and reflecting on just how I feel about social media in general, and how it impacts my life. So I guess just being like really upfront, open, and honest. I think I have a pretty toxic relationship with social media. To me, I see it as not so much a place anymore for like sharing and expressing, but really almost more as a place of promotion and competition. It doesn't feel good anymore. And I've debated about whether or not I really wanted to talk about this like to people, but I'm guessing that there's probably people out there that feel very similar. The reason I debated it because I'm like, is this like, am I just an asshole? Like, am I just a jaded asshole? Because a lot of times when I'm scrolling through Instagram, and I'm talking about Instagram specifically because it's the form of social media I use the most. I don't use Twitter. I'm not really on Facebook a whole lot. So Instagram's kind of my primary social media outlet. But when I'm scrolling through it and I'm seeing people, to me, I get the sense that people are really kind of competing to see who's like the most influential, I guess. Like people are trying to be like witch influencers. And even if I look at it in terms of like people are just exchanging information, in the sense that a lot of people are making like informational how-to kind of things, posts, videos, pictures, TikToks, but it's a lot of just the same stuff. And it's not, even in that regard, like social media has become really uninspiring. So I don't like that. I don't like that it feels like a competition, that if you're not posting certain things or posting enough, then you feel like you're not doing witchcraft right, which is really strange, because witchcraft doesn't live on social media. And sometimes I question like the people who post these really beautiful photos, these really elaborate things, like, what are they doing off screen? Because I know that when I try to do things like that, it ends up like sucking a lot of my time. And then I'm not doing the thing. I'm just posting about the thing. So I'm really questioning whether or not I want to be on social media at all anymore. This is largely just rambling, which is fine, but now I'm losing my train of thought. So it's probably been about a week now since I have not had Instagram. And not to be one of those people, but I feel like so much has changed in my life. Like, I definitely don't want to jump the gun and be like, my life is completely transformed. But just some of the things I've noticed is I have a lot of moments where I will reflexively reach for my phone, particularly when I'm feeling bored. And so in those moments, I'm like, wow, like the thing that I'm looking for is no longer there. What can I do instead? And instead, I've been doing a lot more reading, a lot more journaling, more artwork. And that feels really good. The other thing is like doing my witchcraft, actually doing my witchcraft, not, not getting caught up in what other people are doing, not getting caught up in the idea that like, if I'm not sharing this with everyone, like, how are people gonna know that I'm a boss ass witch? Like, and really challenging my thinking around that like, I don't need to post these things. Like, I don't need to be, working hard to develop an online presence in order to be relevant. Like, I can be relevant to myself and to my friends and to my spirits, and that's just fine. It's really fascinating to take a step back and look at like all of these like deeply programmed thoughts and behaviors that we have around social media. Thorne brought up a good point too, just about being an author. That is a big part of being an author. And you could say that about being an artist or like any other type of business, is that having an online presence can be really important. It gets word out about your product or whatever it is, especially in kind of like a niche market, like occult publishing, where like we're not really, we're never going to make big money. And we're really kind of up to our own devices in order, like in terms of promoting ourselves. And I do have the, I guess, privilege of having a mundane job that is my source of income. So I don't need to rely on being an author to like support myself. And I don't mean those things disparagingly. I think that kind of sounded a little bit more bitchy than it's intended. It's not to say that those aren't valid jobs or anything like that, but just that I don't need to promote myself as heavily as some people do. Again, not, that sounds so mean. I don't mean it to sound mean. But social media, I think, has just become a place that's not for me anymore. And that's okay. But I think it's interesting when it comes to YouTube. This is where I'm kind of having a lot of thoughts. I'm thinking about, I post very infrequently on YouTube. For those of you who are still here, who have stuck around, are new, like, I love you. Like, thank you. But I post infrequently. And one of the things that Thorne talked about in her video too is like the way YouTube has changed. And how largely a lot of what you find in terms of witch content now on YouTube is like how-to videos, kind of instructional things. And I thought about for a while, I was like, well, maybe I'll kind of revamp and do some kind of updated, like, core, like, informational videos. And there's still a possibility that maybe I will. But YouTube used to be a lot of just vlogging. People sitting down in front of their camera and rambling. Talking about their lives, their experiences, what they're going through. And I think that if I continue with YouTube, which I'm sure I will, that's probably the direction I'm headed in. Not so much talking about informational things so much as it is just about my experiences. More, I guess, more personal content. It makes me think about the concept of like our book of shadows, right? Or your grimoire, or whatever like you want to call your magical journal. And a lot of times we get caught up in this idea that like this book needs to contain all of the information, like correspondences, like copying things out of books, and like that's great in its own thing. But I think about like if I were to find somebody's book of shadows, if I was to inherit a book of shadows, would I want a book that is full of correspondences and information that I could pull out of any old book? Or would I want something that talks about that person's experience as a witch? Would I want to hear about, you know, the reason why they worked that spell? How did that spell turn out? Like, those are the things that I think we need to get back to, because we have so much information now. And information is always changing, and like, it's not to say that we shouldn't share that, but I think we're getting to a place where we're not really sharing our stories, or like the things that maybe matter the most. And so if I reevaluate where I want to be in terms of social media, that's where I want to go. I want to post about those things. I want to have conversations with people. And I think in a way too, it's being untapped. I don't know if that's perfect, but like unfiltered, right? One of the big things is when I make videos, I worry about like, I'm just rambling. I don't know if my thoughts are making sense. And I always like comment on that. I always kind of like worry about it. And I don't want to do that anymore. I just like, I'm letting this video itself be a testament to that personal growth, that I'm going to make a video. I'm going to ramble about a topic. I'm going to talk about how I feel. It's going to be 12 plus minutes long, or however. I'm just going off what the timer says. And if people want to watch it, they watch it. And if they don't, they don't. And that's fine, because ultimately I'm posting for myself and for the people that are going to want to watch it. So, yeah, that is kind of where I'm at. If you have any feelings or thoughts, leave them in the comments. Let me know. How do you feel about social media? Do you feel inspired by it, or do you feel like it kind of sucks away your inspiration? Is there a particular social media platform you find more inspiring than others? Let me know. And until next time, take care.